story this week is the latest that's unfolding in Bangladesh. Once the pride of South Asia, Bangladesh may well now be at a point of possibly no return, and that looks like it may be inching closer towards Pakistan. And why do I say that? Well, there are now growing threats of Islamization. Dhaka is also now sinking into political violence. There's sectarian tensions, and there is growing economic instability. It seems former Prime Minister Sheikh Hasina's ouster in August was a sign of things to in fact unravel. And since then, minority religious organizations like ISKCON have been labeled fundamentalists and subject to facile investigations. The Ahmadiyas are also not being spared, from the country's courts to its bureaucracy and even the police and army. All walks of government machinery are now seeing more and more extreme or even Islamist elements now coming in. What started as a student protest is now dismantling Bangladesh. That's what's happening. Its democracy is pretty much crumbling. And Sheikh Hasina has finally spoken out in the face of rising authoritarianism. Sheikh Hasina condemned the arrest of the Hindu priest, Chinmay Krishnadas Brahmachari, calling it part of a broader pattern of anarchic activities and attacks on religious minorities. The priest's arrest has also struck a nerve with the international community, the latest one being British Conservative MP Bob Blackman. He has raised this issue of violence against Hindus in Bangladesh in the UK Parliament on Wednesday.
We have a responsibility because we enable Bangladesh to be free and independent. Now, whatever the change of government has been in Bangladesh, it cannot be acceptable that religious minorities are persecuted in this way.
Okay, now the political climate is changing rapidly, and with Jamaat-e-Islami, a once banned Islamist party, now issuing statement on the interim government's behalf, the future of Dhaka's secular ideals is now increasingly becoming uncertain.
আমরা শুধু ইসকন না, আমরা বলেছি জাতীয় স্বার্থের বিরুদ্ধে যারাই যাবে তাদের ব্যাপারে পদক্ষেপ নিতে হবে।
Now, even more troubling is the meeting that took place between Mohammed Yunus and the chief prosecutor of the International Criminal Court. Who is that? That's Karim Khan. Well, Karim Khan himself is a controversial figure. In fact, he has some very, very checkered past. A female lawyer working for Khan was allegedly subjected to sexual advances by him. And there's been, in fact, an inquiry that's taking place against him. And after these allegations made global headlines, Khan now finds himself subject of an extreme and a very long inquiry. Now, there's more, in fact. Khan met Yunus at the very same Jamuna State Guest House on Wednesday as Jamaat's senior leadership did on Thursday as well. Okay, now this raises some very uncomfortable questions. Does he, in fact, tacitly support the atrocities that are being committed against Bangladesh's minorities? It's not just about the Hindus, it's about the Ahmadiyas, it's about the Christians, it's about the Buddhists. And is he turning a blind eye to the rising tide of extremism that's engulfing Bangladesh? What was once a nation of hope is now facing the harsh reality of economic collapse. Daily goods are now becoming expensive. Governments now not being able to ensure law and order. And that impacts the economy, that impacts its future, which is pretty much hanging by a thread with no prospect of an electoral timeline being offered to its citizens. And amidst all the chaos, Mohammed Yunus, once the West's blue-eyed boy, is now facing stark criticism, with President-elect Donald Trump condemning the violence on his campaign trail. The question now is whether Bangladesh can claw its way back from this, from the brink. As the sands of time slip away, the nation's future is now becoming clearer. From progress, it's become peril, and from democracy, it's becoming disaster. The road ahead is uncertain, but one thing is clear: Bangladesh's fight for its soul is far from over.